Alright, welcome. This is Jared Napolitano, the marketing advocate for the Star Wars CCG Players Committee. I'm going to be doing a stream of some game replays from GEMP, play.starwarsccg.org. That's the website, in case you're not aware. I have 4 replays for the Premiere to Jabba's Palace sealed deck format that were submitted for the Retro League. This was held a couple months ago. I've been meaning to get around to do this. I did one stream for this event, which was 4 other games, and then I have 4 other games that were submitted that hopefully, entertaining to people that enjoy the format. So thanks in advance for tuning in. We'll go through the games. We can kind of see how the action is and kind of speed up as we're going through the games. But hopefully, if you're a newer returning player, you might find some value in these games to potentially learn different lines of play, and hopefully we'll have some fun here. Hopefully we have some people interacting live with the chat when this is recorded, but I did not give any notice to doing this. Really, it's just kind of a play it by ear thing, so might be a pretty quiet chat. But after this, I'm going to try to do another stream for the event 5 of the Retro League, which premiered to Reflections 2. So hopefully that is done and gets up onto the PC YouTube pretty quickly. But I think that's about all the preamble. Again, this event was held like July and August. Ironically, I actually won this event. I finished 6-0, and that's where the first set of game streams for this format are up. They're going to be in the same playlist that this one is on the PC YouTube channel, which is, of course, Star Wars youtube.com/C/Star Wars CCG. So check those out. Check out the other streams. This was the first year of the Retro League. We did 5 events. Again, this was the 4th event. 5th event was Premiere Reflections 2. We just kind of went chronologically. We are going to be doing the league again next year. It was free this year. May or may not be free next year. It kind of depends on feedback. But if you like these formats, if you're again a new returning player, if you're just someone who's kind of consistently played, and just you might have just found out about GEMP very recently, GEMP. Again, this is play.starwarsccg.org. It is free. You can play with any cards you want. You can build decks, play against anyone in the world. It's an awesome tool for the game. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the game. So again, I have 4. I think in these were all submitted by players who participated in the league. So we have our first one here. This is between, as I load it up here, let me refresh. So this is between ideatrack and Bkippel. This was, let me go in a lot of order here. This was game 4, top table. I guess I didn't stream this one initially. I think the first stream I did for this event was mostly games 5 and 6 of the event, and this one is going to have some from earlier in the event that people submitted. So we have here, again, we'll discuss different lines. So we have throne room, mains, looks like staging areas, insurrection, wise advice are on the table, and your insight serves you well. Let me just pause it here to catch up here. So we have that thing's operational for dark side. They have the Death Star 2 in hand, Moff Jar Jar, Desperate Counter, which downloads from reserve deck combat response, or Imperial Arrest Order 2. Very good effects that help the deck run a lot smoother. Emperor Palpatine's pretty good. Major Turfanier, pretty good pilot, matches with, I think, Saber 2, Emperor's Personal Shuttle, and Emperor, so pretty good hand here. And Scythe 1, which is Miranda's ship, which is really powerful with weapons. It can shoot basically anything out because it can fire during the move phase. So this card's still used even nowadays in open. Again, so this is to replicate the format from like October, November, December of 2000. And I think Reflections 2 came out in like January of 2001. Of course, that introduced 54 new premium cards. But the sealed deck, Jabba's Palace sealed deck, was only, I think, 20 cards. But it did change the meta a lot. It had No Escape and Unita were probably 2 of the biggest changes, because those impacted like Throne Room with the Swamp and Nudge Start with Farm, Careful Planning. And it also impacted Route 2 Operations, which was super strong. I'm trying to think what else. It made Hunt Down more viable because No Escape really enables Hunt Down to put the damage through to get around Honor the Jedi. So first turn here, Brad So he's going to be able to activate a lot. So he activates, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, enough for Luke. That's pretty impressive. So Luke gets deploy -3 to home 1. Oh, sorry, click on the cards here, shift click. And then he just docking bay transits for free, so he's immediately putting pressure on ideatrack to prevent a drain or just control a site. So we'll see what happens here. Again, I'm no expert player. This event I did do pretty well. This is, to answer the chat, this is through Jabba's Palace Sealed deck. Or maybe that comment was a couple minutes ago, because I just mentioned that. Probably the case. But yeah, Death Star 2, Premiere Death Star 2 is probably the most popular retro format on Jemp. People really like that format. I really like it. It was event 3 of the Retro League. I'd be shocked if it does not also repeat as a format for the 2023 Retro League. So you have Combat Response come out here, Imperial Rest Order. Let me pause it here. So we've got a bunch of verifies here. So let's just get an idea of what's going on here. So several Emperors. We got docking bays. We got one Lord Vader. I feel like I just saw another one. Maybe I'm saying things. Kashyyyk. Got Vader's lightsaber. We got the Starship guns. This is the one that goes onto Scythe 1, Saber 1, Baron Suter Fell. Different parts of the Death Star here. OG Grand Moff Tarkin. Got Admiral's Order, Force Lightning E3. So some interesting stuff. Janus Grievous. So it's kind of like a little bit like a mainsy ground build. Obviously lots of space with the starfighters. Most of the starfighters do not have hyperspeed. And out comes Moff Jerjerrod, who's going to start building the Death Star, so he uploads a sector. Takes a few turns to get that going. I think in this format, Brad's going to have to be careful here and respect possibly like a always thinking with your stomach to make Luke lost, but there is no battle plan or battle order out, so he's just going to drain for 1. Ideatrack does not have any shenanigans with always thinking with your stomach. Out comes another docking bay to get his activation up. So Jerjerrod's safe here too from spies, because when he's at the Death Star 2, prevents opponent spies from deploying to the same Death Star 2 site. So Brad's just going to get another location and draw, build a hand here. Once that thing's operational is all set up, Dark will be in pretty good shape. And there's an EPP Vader is in there. They can start forcing some free damage in, 2 or 3 a turn, depending if he has that We Shall Double Our Efforts card, which increases it. We have the second sector comes out. Saber 2 with Fenrir. This is going to be a drain at 2. This is a great system even nowadays. Drain 2. Opponent ships deploy -1, and they are it's a force drain -1 for light. Fighter's command is going to add 2 to the immunity. This is like one of the best images in all of Star Wars CCG, I think. I think it made the top 4 when we did the we did the Star Wars CCG Ultimate Image Bracket last year. So yeah, it's going to add this immunity. It's going to make ships that don't have pilots aboard. It's immune less than 6, since it's normally less than 4. So that's a pretty cool card. He draws the Lord Vader, Spaceport Docking Bay. Let's see what Brad has in store, because this will dictate, he can't really attack Jerjerrod. He probably doesn't have a credible space package, too. He doesn't really have any way to, he doesn't have, squadron assignments. So we have dark maneuvers, and we see a grab with, what are they trying to push on? What are you trying to push on us to grab that 6 dark maneuver so it can't cycle? I don't know why Lyndon's playing that with no sense ultra protection. I might have held on to it for a little bit at least. Unless he really, if he's about to go over 12 cards to respect Monarch, okay, play it then. If he has, Emperor on the table, so Lightside has to respect a possible sense to it. It just seemed like maybe he's baiting the grab. Maybe he's got more annoying interrupts that he has in store. So Tozka and Bronburs both come out, as does Battleplane, so that's going to make Ideatrack have to pay 2. Ideatrack, the Dark Side player. He deploys these 2 deploy 3 aliens, Tozka and Bronburs, who both draw on their own. These guys were really good against routes operations, because they didn't have that deploy +2 the way all other rebels did. So that but routes for operations really takes a hit in this format, but Brad's turning on a lot of staging areas activation here, +2 at each, since he controls. That thing's operational is in reserve, but of course Lyndon's going to activate here. So you get the chat. I agree. All the Admiral's orders are beautiful. Yeah, fighters coming in is awesome. Battle deployment is also very cool. And just the fact that like the borders, open is really cool. There's some virtual cards now that do that as like special alternate images. All right, so Lyndon gets lucky here. He did not activate that thing's operational, so he activated like 10. After he pulled the third sector, he's going to be able to use the third sector to deploy that thing's operational, and he's going to have that thing's operational on the turn by turn 3, which is pretty good. There's some times where that can get a little backed up. Next thing he probably wants to do is find another system, because that thing's operational doesn't activate with Endor. It needs to be another system. So that's the trick now, is finding Kashyyyk nowadays, or even with like Coruscant. When that set came out, it had Neimoidian Visor, which is a way to just deploy any battleground from your reserve deck by using 2 force. As it is in this format, there's not a lot of great ways. I mean, I guess Commander Marajek, I don't know if we saw that pull chain as he draws Solace, so that's good for ideatrack here. So this is going to be a drain 2, and it's something that the Death Star 2 can revolve. So Brad's going to pay 3 a drain for 1 here. These older formats are always interesting because players have to respect. I should try to pause it. Monarch Grimtosh a lot more than they do nowadays. Unital comes out to take Leia into hand. We'll see what he does with Leia. Maybe he's got a small chance he's got like a Super Falcon in this throne room. We just did see home 1 with a quick verify there. I think there was a Luke Saber in the reserve. Brad's just going to draw. So he's going to blow through the 12 Monarch limit out of commission. Good card to potentially against like Hunt Down. Good card against like ISB to try to place out of play some agents so they can't just keep retrieving them. But definitely something that Darkside may grab. Again, this was the top table of Game 4, so both these players were 3-0, I'm sure, going into this game. These Retro League events had between like, I think the smallest might have had like mid-30s, and then we even had like 50 in the Death Star 2, as we see Home Run War Room, Blaster Proficiency lost from hand by Brad. So given that number of players, top table at Game 4 is probably 2 3-0s. But not mathematical certainty. Saber 3 comes out with DS 1813. So we got a couple TIE Avengers. Right, Avengers? Interceptors. My bad. I should know that. Alright, SR2 is going to orbit Sullust. Ideatrack does not reinforce. This thing doesn't have any hyperspeed. He didn't move. You would think he'd want to protect the system that he's moving at. He's got a couple tricks here with some spaceship weapons, though, so let's just pause here. So all these special edition cards that help starship weapons. During deploy phase, we just fired, add 1 battle destiny, so that doesn't do anything, since how many weapons on the table. Heavy fire zone, that's the key card. So if Lightside tries to attack, he can deploy from reserve, and then he's got some tricks. He's also got a barrier, of course, so yeah, maybe fine. Emperor Shuttle does reach, it's only Parsec 7. Emperor's on the table, he's got a sense. So Lyndon looks like he's in pretty good shape here. Willing to pay 6 to drain for 2 and 2. And, ooh, this is interesting. All right, so Brad's just going to go very interesting, actually. So he's going to get barriered. We have a sense. Lyndon's going to play his sense here. And we'll see if Brad has like an altar or sense. He probably does with a 17-card hand. Yep. All right, so we have a good old-fashioned sense altar war there. So that is interesting. I'm going to pause it here. So he can deploy here because Tycho Selchu is a spy, and there's no permanent pilot. Presumably now he's going to try to blow up the Death Star. So this could be, and this maybe, what I did, just being in the league, being helped to run the league, being an advocate for the Players Committee, I reached out, tried to get people's, if they had interesting games or games, towards the top, tables, so people could see, very competitive and good decks and players who are doing well within a particular event. But point being, this might be a game it's very competitive at the top of the pairings, but also a very fun one because we might have a Death Star 2 getting blown up. All right, so looks like the sense draw goes through without much surprise. He draws a 1. So Lyndon's going to lose the barrier. He's going to lose the sense, right? Honor the Jedi comes out, so that's good. In that, it's going to shut off the That Thing's operational damage until Lyndon gets on a 3rd battleground, which he has one here with Spaceship Docking Bay. And yeah, Unitas, this is one of the new cards with the Jabba's Palace sealed deck, so just to make sure I'm not going crazy and this is not an actual Premiere to Death Star 2 format stream. And Brad's just going to draw some more. So Brad's a very, very good player, plays a lot of different formats. Sealed, old school, Jawa, open. He's actually using the OCS this month. I think we're doing an event now, an open, mostly a fun event, but I think he's like 14-1 in the contest. All right, so he has some drains getting through. Chief Chirpa's Hut toss from hand, Lando with Vibro Axe. Still a card that pops up in open play. Out of commission, EPP Han off the top. So this is looking, this looks pretty close. Lyndon's got his 5-card advantage, or not Lyndon, Brad has a 6-card advantage in hand. Out comes U3PO to block this drain at the platform. Of course, there's not a ton of ways to get rid of undercover spies back in this format. There's some, but probably the best ones are Sorry About the Mess and with Luke not having a weapon. And now even if it did, Lyndon has O-Switch off. Revolution, alright. Interesting. So that's going to turn this drain of 2 into a drain of 1. It's also going to make the deploy cost apply to dark side instead of light side. Alright, Insurrection with the Verify, just a Melos, another out of commission. So I feel like Brad's got a lot of well, he might have only had 2 or 3. Falcon's going to move in, draws movement destiny. Yeah, well, that's one we just saw in the Verify. Starship not lost, so that's a win for Brad here. And he's just going to keep drawing. Darkseid has, like 3 damage queued up. Honor the Jedi is doing some pretty good work here. I would think Lyndon has to have no escape in this, right? You can't play That Thing's operational in this format without a no escape. I feel like no escape went into a lot of decks. You can maybe make Brad draws a ton. He's up to 26 cards in hand. Maybe you make the assumption, with that card out, with no escape out, people aren't going to play Honor Jedi. But keep them honest. It seems to be the case here. So Brad now with only 7 cards face down, 26 cards in hand. That's pretty crazy. He better lose from hand. Yes. We got an EPP Obi and an Endor Docking Bay. Honor is going to reduce the drain. Lyndon's not going to pay 3 to drain for 1 at Endor, it looks like. Nope. Space for Docking Bay comes out. So this will be big because he's going to have... he could put Vader there, but he could have... So right there, he could have put Vader here, right? For a little deploy minus 2. He risked getting barriered and getting stuck there, but that would have saved him a couple force, right? So I guess with enough force available, he just figured, let me just deploy straight to the spaceport Docking Bay. Jar Jar comes over, and of course, if anyone sees me say something that's wrong, feel free to correct me. I might be missing some stuff. Weapon led, so he's going to try to find the Vader Saber. We have a sense come out. Lyndon's got nothing to answer that, so Melos gets drawn, which of course Brad knew was there. Not that there was a high likelihood that he was going to whiff on the sense. Brad cycles a card there too at the sense, so he's only got 8 cards face down, which means he doesn't have much of a threat of attacking. Gets a Goonie tag. I wonder what Brad was digging for so much. Yeah. All right, so EBP Obi comes down. We have a barrier. Let's see if Brad has a sense in that 21-card hand. If he does, then it's going to take away a Destiny to battle. So this is interesting. So no Clash of Sabers. Brad's going to move the Falcon further into the Death Star, draws Movement Destiny, and he's fine. I guess he's got to be careful, right? Because if he doesn't draw Movement Destiny, does the ship die? I don't know what the rules thing with that is. So when your starship moves from here, draw Movement Destiny, add maneuver. So this is maneuver like 4, maybe even more. So yeah, he just gets to not draw like a 1 basically. Who's piloting it? It's Tycho and Leia. So having her ability 4 will be good in terms of trying to blow up the Death Star, because that thing's operational and takes that into account. Add pilot's ability 4, so you might have to draw 5, I think. Add 1 to Destiny for each of your piloted characters. So yeah, that adds 1. So it looks like he needs to draw 4, which, if you get those added commissions, those are good to track around and make sure that he definitely blows it away. There it is. So there's the added commission, but it's going to be pretty close to the top of his reserve deck, so not necessarily trackable. Drain come through here of 2. Moves Tall's Ka over to reinforce. Oh wait, did I just say pay 3? He satisfies battle plan now, so. And that thing's operational damage is going to get through. So that's 2 that Brad's going to have to eat. Sends an altar from hand. Saber 4 to the docking bay. Presumably has just like forfeit bait. Or forfeit fodder is the phrase. And he's just going to move. Alright, so Lyndon is not going to risk any type of like counter beat. And not going to run away. Just lands the tie at the docking bay, which of course ties are unique in that they can only land at docking bays. They can't land at exterior sites the way that other starfighters can. We've got Gravity Shadow, Kashyyyk, All Power. Fun stuff there, lateral damage. But Brad is... Oh, interesting. Alright, so yeah, so he is tracking the added commission right now, so he's not going to activate anything, basically. What do you do, 1 force? Yeah, so he knows that added commission's on top. Death Star 2 is going to get blown away here, and Lyndon's going to have to lose a lot of force. So there's that added commission. Back in the day, these trackable 5s and 6s, like a few maneuvers or dark maneuvers, are very valuable, just because there wasn't as many. Nowadays, there's lots of good used interrupts. Movement Destiny's drawn so that Brad is going to have his ship survive. He's got to draw it for each one, right? Yeah, even more reason to not activate that much, because he wants to make sure he has enough here to keep the ship out. Ooh. Is that bad? I think he's okay, right? Yeah, duh, because yeah, definitely fine. Alright, so Death Star 2 is blown away. Lyndon needs to lose a lot of force. 24 force. And he has 25 left. Wow. So that makes the decision easy. He just loses everything except the last life force, right? Unless my math's off. No, I think that's right? The Lyndon's just peeling cards here. And it is control phase right now. This is going to flip. And he's not going to be able to drain there. He couldn't do anyway because he doesn't have battle plan satisfied. So interesting. So he had... Couldn't he have left 1? And then, I mean, Brad can battle. I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of inevitable. Well, I don't know. Like, what damage is Brad doing here? He does have a ton of force, though. So he'll have, like, what is that? 3, 5, 7, 24 to 1. At some point, he's gonna figure out a way to get 1 damage through. Because Lyndon's not gonna be able to do anything with 1 force. He's not gonna be able to deploy anything. He's not gonna be able to even run away. Okay, so that makes sense. All right, good game. All right, so Brad wins by basically blowing up the Death Star. Game 2, what do we have here? We have Ryan Jellison versus Will, who's SWCCG, to the moon. I'm hesitating. I wonder... I think I had another stream from these guys, maybe for one of the other events. So we'll see. So this is ISB versus There's Good in Him. According to my notes here, this was Game 3 of Event 4, Table 2. So both these players were 2-0 at this point. Again, this is Jabba's Palace sealed, or Premiere through Jabba's Palace sealed deck. This might be the Speeder's TIG. TIG is There's Good in Him. Ryan's going to get Secret Plans out. Pretty standard start here with the 2 anti-sense alter effects. Something special, which is pretty good about making extra force have to be spent to move away. Maneuvering Flaps obviously screams that he's got a bunch of speeders. That was a good anti-ROPS deck, if I'm not mistaken. That because they couldn't get barriered because you can't barrier a vehicle. We drain here on Will's first turn. And they're like really cheap. You activate the maneuver flaps. You basically just deploy a ton. You maybe grab the Gick. And you just try to get a beatdown in. Oh, we got asteroids. Okay, yeah, I don't think we did this one yet then. I think we did another game between these two players, maybe the last event. All right, so we got 3 Rebel Snowspeeders out. They're all free. 4, we're still going here. Yeah, your vehicles and devices deploy -1 here, so all those vehicles are free. That's pretty cool. So maybe we won't see the... I'm a big fan of asteroids back in the day, because you can do the control phase, may place one weapon, device, or non-creature vehicle. So you can put this Snowspeeder, you could toss it on top of your reserve decks. That's good with like Ewok Catapult, which is Destiny 7. On Endor, you can only deploy to Endor, you deploy the artillery weapon, and then you have the asteroid, flip it. So he's keeping Luke hidden over there, just to make sure that no Imperial, I guess, picks him up, at least at the battleground. And I guess Ryan kind of has to respect that, deploy into like a possible Snowspeeder beat. He's barely activating anything, so, you know, Will probably felt pretty safe. Of course, Ryan is SAC, as in Sacramento Kings. That's his basketball team. Outer Rim Scout gets tossed from hand. And SWCCG to the moon is Will. All right, Kashyyyk gets lost off the top. Maneuvering flaps activated. We have a 2-0 dropped. And backdoor dropped. Interesting. All right, I like this deck. This is interesting. Moves Luke over, threatens a drain of 3 there. As we can see, Ryan's perspective here, he does not have, you know, a very credible ground force. He has no escape. He can get back Kashyyyk. You may start trying to get some space drains through. Ozzel's text might actually kick in here about subtracts 1 from the deploy cost of capital starships, that same system. So, you know, he's got the Dominator here, the Dreadnought, a couple different capital ships, as he does no escape the Kashyyyk back. Kashyyyk is back. And if you are someone who played in the Retro League, or you're someone who might play in it next year, or your interest is just piqued with this, we're going to put out a survey just to try to get some feedback on, you know, what people liked, what they might have seen, what they would like to see changed a little bit. From a format perspective, maybe, you know, prizes or just any other general feedback that they might have. So that'll be sent out probably about a week. You know, Steve Sanders, who ran the league this year primarily, and actually had some interest from Andy Talaga to help. So we'll probably do, let me pause it 1 second, more of like a PSA. So in 2021, we did it was like April. It was a Premiere to Death Star 2 event on GEMP. So anyone across the globe could play in it. And it was online. It was basically play like, I think it was 10 games, and then it did a cut to the top 8. Those players played match play, determined the winner, which was ultimately Bastion Winklehouse. It was a pretty loaded top 4. I think it was Joe Olson and Justin Desai and Hayes Hunter, Bastion Winklehouse, 4 very, 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 very accomplished players. This year we did Decipher cards only, which was like a 20-year anniversary of when the PC started. So basically it was all Decipher cards. So basically what the format was in, say, January, February of 2002. And then next year we'll have to figure out exactly what to do. We'll do something a little different. Maybe we'll get some feedback, see what people like. The Decipher cards only is just not a great format. More of kind of like a posterity. So, you know, Ryan got his ship and a couple pilots out. So he's threatening drain of 2 there. Will gets the drain of 3 through at the back door. Ryan's just losing a couple ISB agents that he presumably can get back. Light side 3rd marker. That is not a sight we see very often. Echo Base Troopers. The alias of a technology advocate. Echo Base Trooper deploys. So that's an interesting sight. I wonder, I mean, the Hoth speeders, they're not any more power. I feel like are there any other better Force Sharing +1 sights for light side? I have to think about that. But a couple more snow speeders, another ASP droid here. EPP Obi's hanging out with a couple snow speeders. Will is putting a lot of nouns on the table here. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe like Premiere to Endor, Premiere to Special Edition. It could go super old school like Premiere to New Hope. But that event, we usually try to do it in like April, because it's the way the schedule is. That makes it a little more likely that open or standard players will participate, just because there's an off month for the online championship series. And obviously, we want all players who play open, also players who exclusively play retro formats. You know, new players, returning players. So that's around the corner. Probably be here before we know it. All right, so Will lost a Twix there with the War Room, Bisson Ornament. I think he might have played this in ISB Outer Rim Scouts, and primarily in all three of the Retro League events that allowed them. It was Premiere to New Hope, then Premiere to Hoth. These are all constructed formats that were done for the Retro League. All right, so drain a 2 at the defensive perimeter. The dark side defensive perimeter is like one of the best sites of the game. Still is. We have a Scythe 1 toss from hand, Flagship Executor. Seems like maybe Ryan is not too afraid of Will's space here, what his space package might be. Ryan's got a couple more ships, or not ships, systems in hand. Well, ships too. Is he running 2 Scythes? Because he definitely just lost a Scythe. Oh yeah, maybe he's got 2. Interesting. All right, lateral damage. So he's losing a lot of his space punch, we'll say. All right, Zev comes out. He's piloting. Immune to alter. All right, so maneuvering flaps cannot be altered because Zev is on the table. And Will's going to replenish his hand here. We'll see what happens. So both players have around 20 force face down. Will's got a handful more in hand. And he's digging for something. 20 guard hand. This is red carded. I can't click on it. Den of Thieves, alright. Alright, so Will loses a Hoojix from hand, Rebel Snowspeeder from hand. Ryan's getting some more, another system out, Devastator, the OG from Premiere. And that was actually like the grand prize for the 2021 retro event. It was a Japanese Devastator. I think around that time it was worth around $130, $150. Now it's probably a lot more. Market's just going pretty wild. Oh wow. A weird couple years. Alright, so Ryan draws a couple at the end of his turn. Maneuvering flaps are turned on. Ryan's going to save his Den of Thieves cancel for the backdoor drain, presumably. Neither player has battle plan or battle order out, right? So these are free drains. Yeah, Den of Thieves is going to cancel the backdoor here. I mean, just the math here. Looks like light side's up, but oh, another 1/1 force drain +1. I like it. Exterior sight. I guess that makes sense, yeah, because like some of the good, like the Carbonite Chamber, the light side, or the lower corridor, those are drain 2 sites, but obviously they're interior, so they don't work. You can't put your snow speeders there. All right, so that makes sense why we have the Hoth third marker. And he's going to draw more. So big hand here. I guess with these snow speeders just being so cheap, but they only have ability 1, right? Maneuvering flaps doesn't do anything. Yeah, they don't even, so it doesn't get a battle dust in here, but they're power 4 each. I guess against ISB, probably doesn't have to be too worried. I would think 5d6 has got to be coming down this turn too. Somewhere on Endor, right? To make these drains both -1. Got space drains here. Ryan elects not to cancel his own force drain with Den of Thieves, which, of course, because Jemp is rules enforced, it does allow you to do something like that. May cancel a force drain. It doesn't say your opponent's force drain, so yep, that would work. Alright, so yeah, alright, so Ryan finally flips here on turn 6, and Will's going to play Barrier, I guess, more so just to cycle the card. I don't think he's worried about 5d6 battling there. And now Ryan's going to get an ISB agent back during his draw phase. He's got a handful in there. I remember playing TIG speeders back in the day. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, it looks like Ryan kind of realized that, and he's been tossing a lot of space stuff. Major Meanda, there he is. This guy's a boss. Adds 2 to the weapon destiny. Basically, him and Scythe 1 could shoot down. I could probably even shoot down, right? Home 1. Home one's like armor 8. Does this thing add? I don't know what the trick is. Maybe this. I don't know. Maybe there's got to be a way. Or maybe someone in the chat can let me know. Can Mienda basically shoot down a home one? I mean, you get like flawless marksmanship adds to it. Adds to a weapon destiny of a space. Like adds 2 if it's used. We have evader lost from hand. So Ryan's still respecting revolutions in this format. Luke's lightsaber adds to the drain. So that's just a 1. Why wasn't it 2, right? He subtracts 1. Am I missing something? Oh, because Luke's over here. Duh. I'm thinking Luke's at the back door. Did he move him over? I thought he had the... Alright, so this is neat. So now Will can, like, kind of cycle some of these speeders back that he might not need if he, like, over-deployed them, per se, which he probably did, but, you know, maybe it isn't an over-deploy if he knows, and obviously he does know that's an option later in the game. Yeah, and he has 7 to hit home 1. So, like, with an artillery... Well, Imperial Artillery is not going to be around yet. Are there any other... I don't know if there's many other good 7 Destiny cards in this format. You're just kind of playing, like, dead 7 cards that don't do anything. So you need a way to cycle them, basically. Alright, Imperial Command. Gets cycled by Ryan. Whiffed on the Admirals. You have a round of drains here from Ryan. It looks like... Alright, this will be interesting. So rendezvous point, lost from hand, draw their fire. So let's see what it's like after 4 strain 3 because of Shiranu as someone. Yeah, let me know that I was. I think we're all. I think it's French, right? So it's. I think it's pronounced Shiranu is the proper definite or pronunciation. I've always said Chiranu. All right, Outer Rim Scout comes out. I wonder how many does Ryan have on the table? Like, I don't think he's going to be pulling off an Abyssal Ornament, right? He's got maybe 3 at most. Looks like it's only 2. But maybe Ryan just doesn't panic here and just tries to gradually extend the game. Maybe eventually get the Outer Rim Scouts out, do the Abyssal Ornament retrieval. He's going to be able to cancel drains here. So, alright, so let's just do the math here. So, end of Ryan's turn. We're going through the back half of turn 7. Will is at 16. Ryan is at 18. Will's about to do damage. Will has no retrieval, but he's got these asp droids that can flip cards back, which is sort of like retrieval. And he's doing, what is it, 1, 1, 2, 2? That's 6. They're both doing around 3, 2, 3. So this definitely favors Ryan because he's got the retrieval going. So let's speed it up a little bit since I don't think we're going to have any battles this game. Yeah, that's a good point, Joe, in the chat. That, yeah, a lot of times you do the on the edge with the asteroids. But yeah, Secret Plans is out. Something Special is out, which can basically place it out of place so they can't keep retrieving it like Kessel Runs or On the Edges. Noble Sacrifices. Interesting, we see another... I can't remember the last time I've seen this card played. It's such a great image. I guess from Special Edition movie. But yeah, it looks like Will has every exterior drain 2 site now in the game, maybe, for light side in here. There's definitely not that many, so... Alright, we're losing some snow speeders. He's got another drain here. Interesting, again, no battle plan, no battle order out in this one. He's got a 2 there. So Ryan could conceivably, like, deploy an Outer Rim Scout, draw to find an Abyssal Ornament, successfully pull it off. So the 2, though, he's going to be able to... He's got a bunch of numpties in his hand here, so he could deploy some more, draw Battle Destiny, like Oberk, ability 2. He also gets buried. Alright, so Will's got 2 barriers. Alright, so maybe... And Ryan, he does have 2 more, so he could just... He's pot committed here, so he's going to be doing all 4 characters. Nope, he just passes through, so he's not going to battle this turn. Gets a card back. Doesn't have to pay to retrieve. No aim high. Is out. And Ryan's going to draw some more, so 8, 4, 12 to about 7. So this looks pretty good for Darkside here. Yeah, he holds back the Outer Rim Scout to make sure he can cancel the drain. And this thing looks like it's going to wrap up very soon, but I think we're going to go the whole game, right, with no battle. Ryan's losing some force here. Maneuvering flaps activated. Asteroid flips a card back. Flips another card back. Alright. Deploys some snow speeders. Battle. He doesn't get battle destiny, but he does have a good amount of power there with 12. Let's see. Ooh, Ryan draws a 0. I mean, if he draws like a... Are these things forfeit? Do they get a forfeit boost from flaps? Yeah, so they're forfeit 4 each. So Ryan will need to draw 5 to get rid of 2 of them. We're going to get a stack here. Interesting. And do the battle damage. And the... Why did he have to lose... Oh, the Outer Scouts are just crappy 3 forfeit. He could have lost Goddard, which would have covered 5, right? 5 and 1. Alright, so maybe this will be pretty close. But these big space drains are going to be a problem for Will here as we're going towards the end. Yeah, it looks like he has just enough to finish him off. So, congratulations to Ryan for winning this one. If this went another turn, again, what's he doing? Like 2, 2, 1, 1, 6? Ryan will get a card back, but yeah, he would deploy evacs to make sure he doesn't get overflowed. Yeah, so that's still pretty close. Looks like Ryan would still win even if Will got another damage cycle through, right? No, yeah. Anyway, good game. Alright, so let's go to our third game here. There we go, a battle. Yeah. Alright, so this is... Let's see, which is this? I have 2 more. Andytalaga versus Dark Deal. This was an interesting game because this actually wasn't in the league. Yeah, but I heard it was a... I think they played maybe in the league, and they said... I think Andy said the game wasn't very competitive. And they played another game pretty closely thereafter that may or may not have been the same exact matchup. And they said it was a very, very good game. So they submitted it. So I'd be happy to stream this. So Bring Him Before Me versus Prophet. I know Dark Deal really likes Prophet. And he's playing Bring Him Before Me, which I think he said in a couple places that, you know, Premier Death Star 2. In this era, Bring Him Before Me was very strong. I think it was one of the few decks that could maybe hold up to Throne Room. But we'll see. So Dr. E and Mara Jade are at the audience chamber. We got a document come out. He now knows that Mara Jade's lightsaber's in there, so he's going to deploy that. Circle is now complete. It's pretty spicy. Sniper, barrier, second Mara. Deploy Emperor? No? Why didn't he deploy Emperor? Did he activate it? Maybe. Yep, there he is. Yeah, you'll probably want to play 1 Emperor, right? And Bring Him Before Me. The plan is not to have him die. Masterful move grabs a Gick. Yeah, so this was, again, non-league. So this is interesting. So maybe I'll just go a little on the faster side so we can get all 4 games in here that I wanted to stream. Again, this is a Premiere through Jabba's Palace Seal deck. We got a Barrier, a Sense from Lightside that goes through with another Sense drawn. Let's see what Lightside has in store here. Chewie Blaster Rifle. Alright, interesting. Weapon Lev to get rid of... And in this format, there's really nothing like good against Weapon Lev. Like, Sense is like the only thing. Nowadays, we have a shield for it. Because it's such a pain in the butt card to deal with. Alright, so the bounce for Master Luke fails. He draws a 1. You need to draw 3 to get rid of Dr. E. In some respects, you kind of want to just get rid of Dr. E. So you don't want him hanging around. Especially, he doesn't have a weapon there, but... Alright, so he gets hit with Chewie's gun. Good old ECC Chewie. Mara has immunity less than 4, but he's down 7 battle damage. And Dark Deal draws us 5, so this is going to be... You know, clear the site, and looks like no overflow. Just enough to avoid overflow, and presumably Chewie's going to die here. No, he loses Luke. No force for an old Ben. That's interesting. I guess he's betting that... Oh, duh, freeze Han. Okay. Get some force back. No secret plans out. No Chimera Big Howard. which actually would work in this case. Unlike the shield coward, the effect coward does not require Darkseid to be on a battleground. Alright, whoa, this is interesting. Alright, so Insight gets tossed. Dark Deal knows what's in there. He tosses to get, let's keep a little optimism. This is the anti-operatives card. At any time you may place effect out of play to retrieve one force. Okay. Alright, so maybe that's to get Han back if need be. Because the operatives part probably isn't going to come into play. Alright, Emperor's going to the platform. Emperor's not going to the throne room. Which, maybe that's the plan. I thought the Emperor pretty much always goes to the throne room and bring him, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not, the most active retro player, though I try. Mars lightsaber, good thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you'd have to change your sleeves rather in person. Because Mara's saber is now the light side card. Alright, Master Luke is back. Let's keep a little optimism. He had to pay 5 for... Oh no, 3 because of yeah, it comes from reserve for Brigham. And then he gets the... Oh yeah, he gets the deploy -2 from the dark objective, not from the light objective, because he's flipped. Yeah. Alright, so dark drains for 1 here. They got Search and Destroy, Choke Vader. Might be an issue for Han. Mars coming down. Vader's coming down. Light has 1 force saves. Doesn't look like there's a barrier, because that would have been played by now, right? If he did have it. Run, Luke, run. Oh no, never mind. That's circle. All right, but then Vader captures him immediately. Okay. I don't know if that was the right play. Do you want Luke to... I mean, I guess Han's probably going to die here, right? Yeah. So at least you're getting Darkseid to start losing a force, because if Dark wanted to, they could move over and capture him anyway. Alright, so... Whiff on the shot. He wouldn't have needed to draw a 5. Looks like Han's going to be seeing some overflow here, unless there's a Hujix. 5. So 7 overflow. And a stack. Insult to injury there with the insignificant rebellion. Prophet flips back. And he loses 7 force. So let's just take a look real quick. So we have Swing and a Miss. That's a fun card. Alter, Barrier, Desperate Reach, cancels Barrier. Obi-Wan's lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber, weapon left. And Someone Who Loves You. From hand, it stacks it. Alright, so... And I already forget. Does that... Let's keep a little optimism. Is that any 1 card, or is that just retrieve 1 card? Because if it's any 1 card, he could fish out Han, but... If it's just retrieve a card... you can get anything. Alright, so... Search and Destroy was tossed, so... That means that... Darkseid isn't planning on Lightside never getting back out to sights, and that's probably a good bet. Lightside's really getting force choked here. We got 2 tunnel visions, and 2 more docking bays come out. I don't like this build of Prophet with the docking bays. I like just Twixes. I know it's a little more high variance, but I feel like it just doesn't activate enough. It's like hunt down or bring them. You're getting like nothing. And do you really want your characters in Prophet hanging out at docking bays? You want them like at the AC and the Jabba's Palace, maybe at like the Cantina. Prophet doesn't fight super well on the opponent's turf, especially since Imperial Rest Order is so popular. You can't really like neighboring around that much. And I mean, maybe not this format per se, but like against Rops, like Prophet has a hard time fighting on Rops' territory. You kind of just want to set up the pings and hope that's the way to get around them, get to victory here. Alright, so Darkseid's going to eat a force to their own card here with Lord Vader from reserve. Dark's got 12 cards in hand. Here comes Unitad to get another tunnel vision. Interesting. Light still has a lot of cards face down, but Dark's obviously much better. Lost in the Wilderness, nice. Lots of another tunnel vision. What's he finding? I hope he's getting some really good cards. Alright, so we got Ben Kenobi. Han coming back? Second copy of Han? Yeah, there he is. And he's just going to draw here. So light is setting up 2 damage here. Dark has got 1, 2, 3, 4 damage queued up. They're eating 1 to their own, so I guess that's what, like a net 1. But of course, Dark's going to put out like Vader's Saber this turn. Oh, Circle's going to get played too. Oh, this could get interesting. I wonder if Light has any counter for it, because he adds 2 to the duel, right? But Circle, you don't draw any Destiny. You just use 1 force, they duel, add 2 with Lightsaber. So, yeah, Vader would win that. Alright, so we got 4 strain, loss of wilderness off the top, disarmed, clash from hand, master Luke from hand. Monarch lost, gets sensed on an 8-card hand, another loss in the wilderness. Interesting. Yeah, it's a good card for profit, I think, because a lot of times Dark wants to go to that site, and at the very least, you're just canceling the drain. It's a Destiny 4 control, basically. Alright, Simalu goes out, Monarch fails. Vader's lightsaber is out, and now Vader goes in, as does Mara, as does Tarkin. Interesting. Why didn't he just play Circle already? Maybe he's respecting if he's got some anti-dual tech like Glancing Blow. Probably why Andy thought it was worth it to play the 4, like, pay 4 force for Monarch to make sure he doesn't have like Glancing Blow. Oh, no, Glancing Blow wouldn't do anything, right? That cancels a Destiny during a duel. Here comes Circle. Another sense. Grab her back on the sense. So that might be like a game-saving sense here from light side. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss a sense there? Oh. Yeah, no. Why was it? What am I missing? Hold on. So he plays Circle for 1. Light side plays sense. It's grabbed. Oh, we were just talking about this. He stole the Mars Saber. That's right. That really threw me off. Yeah. Thanks, chat. Yeah, that's funny. That it gets drawn for sense. No wonder why I was so confused. All right, so disarmed is played on Vader, so he loses the saber. Ooh, that's interesting. Since now Ben Kenobi would win a duel. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I'm starting to see why. The guy said that this was a good matchup. All right, so Leia's out, Lando's out, so he's going to turn up the pings from the 7 side of the Prophet objective here, and he's going to run away with Han and Obi-Wan, or Ben. Darkside's got 4 damage queued up again. They're eating 1 from their own. Light's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage queued up, but this is really good for light side that there's no battle plan out. Dodge lost from hand. Landed with Vibroaxe from hand. Second copy. Not tunnel vision. There's a lot of tunnel visions in this light deck. Alright, Courage of Skywalker. So yeah, that would be anti-dual tech. During a duel, add 1 Destiny total. So yeah, so that is probably the card maybe that Andy was trying to make sure that Dark Deal didn't have. And yeah, it could have really backfired. It could have resulted in Obi-Wan getting placed out of play, right? Because Circle, if I'm not mistaken, Circle places out of play, right? It's not just lost. And that's the whole point of dueling, right? Is that you place him out of play. Let's just double check that. Yeah, placed out of play. Okay. Alright, so Dark is reinforcing space, which is interesting. I usually don't bet on Prophet having much space, but in this era, maybe you see like a home 1. Wouldn't be crazy to have a home 1 in here, like a Lando and Falcon, but Lando's already on the ground. So maybe an overdeploy there, but maybe I think I haven't really been paying close attention on the verifies. Maybe he's seen. So another weapon lev. Darkside loses weapon lev. Sniper from hand. Monarch from reserve. A second Monarch. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of the same cards twice. Either they're just 2 copies or they're getting retrieved and cycled around. Yeah, Oppressive Enforcement's out, so yeah, that sense Monarch didn't go to Lost Pile. That makes sense. Sense from the top. 4 Lam off the top. point man from hand. So now that's non. I'm so used to seeing the point man virtual card, which is played in open. Just a massive canceller of cards. Demotion, restricted deployment. Cards that are never played from A New Hope. Asteroid Sanctuary, Scramble, Order Engage. Nice. Yes, Order Engage is probably the most common. Maybe Scramble. Maybe Demotion. Oops. Get back to the action here. So turn 6. Leia's going to docking bay transit over to Cloud City. Let's see what happens here. Extra bend tossed from hand. Oh, let's do a sticker book token for anyone watching. So if you guys are familiar with the sticker book token program, you'll know exactly what to do here. But I'll explain it in a minute. Let's do battle orders out. Yeah, let's do battle order. So sticker book token. Oh yeah, no, you know what, Carl, you're right. Let's do Mara Jade's lightsaber. And if you do battle order, that'll work too, since I said that first. Mara Jade's lightsaber is the sticker book token. So, oh no, it's not letting me type. It always does this lately. Makes me log in. Alright, so, sorry. Maybe someone else can just type it in the chat. It keeps prompting me to sign in, but I think I am signed in because I'm streaming. But yeah, Mara Jade's lightsaber is the sticker book token. Email that card to holotheater@starwarsccg.org, and you'll get a submission into when we tally them all up. As Denger and Punishing One lands at the spaceport docking bay. Got a bunch of movement here. So, Darkseid is just daring Lightside to attack. It does have a Gick, so worst case scenario. We have another circle here, but that's not going to be helpful because right now Lightside would win a duel. So, a bunch of red cards. Another disarmed, but Darkseid can't play the disarmed. Ping of 3 with Profit. Darkseid with a much bigger hand here. Whoops, went over the chat. No escape is lost. We have another grabber on the masterful move to make sure that 6 doesn't get tracked. Verify. Leia's going to run over to the spatial document to block that drain. So this will be an interesting finish because Light does have the free damage, but Dark has battle order satisfied. There's the Mara Jade's lightsaber. Could be worse is played. Dark doesn't have any answer for that. Simalu sees Lost in the Wilderness. Is that a third Lost in the Wilderness? It can't be. Maybe I'm just losing track of stuff. That'd be real spicy. Alright, Blaster Deflection, Sense. So yeah, so Lightside's got some tricks here for battle, because IGD8 would have been pretty nice. If you could have tracked that masterful move, try to capture Ben, then he would have been able to, or just capture Han, whatever he wanted to do. Because that would be huge right now if you could get Han off the table or capture him. But of course, the master move was grabbed. Alright, Simalu moves over. It's a movement here. Dark moves everybody into the audience chamber. Take your father's place pings. Got a force lightning to get rid of. No, to just cycle it. Alright. Gick from hand. Got some pay 3, drain 1 action at the spaceport docking bay. Lando runs away. A lot of moving this game. Sometimes usually the prudent move. Got a revert here, which is good. That sometimes the reverts cause the game replay to break. So good to see that didn't happen. Drain 2. Loses another grabber. Loses an extra Leia. There's IG88. Battle. Cancel. And she's seized. That's pretty big for Dark now. That it looks like he's going to be able to trap Lando. He's going to have to document transport to run away. Moves in front of Emperor. Did he lose all of his Force Lightnings? Or not have them? A couple of small droids here. There's that. It could be worse. This is going to be a nail biter. Alright. So that doesn't work. Lando does not exclude the Emperor. I just as soon kiss a Wookiee. Nice card. Shout out to Scott Lingrell, our lead advocate. One of his favorite cards. Alright, so Lando dies. That's going to take away another ping. Looks like Light is now doing no damage whatsoever. And it looks like in a match that went back and forth a bunch of times that Light is going to be victorious. Or no, Dark. Dark is going to be victorious, right? We got Choke Han. Misses the choke. He's going to be able to cancel with Tarkin. So there goes the Battle Destiny. 2, so you can just revive with Ben, right? But he does cause a stack, and that's it. Alright, so Darkseid wins by 3 force. That was a good game. Good game. Thanks for submitting. Darkseid ekes it out. Alright, so fourth and final game here. This one is our guy Fat Lenny playing against Dark Deal again, Light. Oh, we might see the same Prophet deck. Dark Lenny is the master of flagship operations, but he's... Ooh, alright, so this might be the... this is the hunt down flops deck. And Prophet. So we'll go a little quick on this one, because I have a feeling a lot of this stuff we've already seen in the other stream, which definitely check that one out. Like I said, it's going to be in the same YouTube playlist. And then we obviously just saw this Prophet deck. So this was game 2 of the... Yeah, table 13. So this is still early in the event. So, yes, atmospheric assault. All sorts of fun stuff here with asteroids and counter assaults, choke Vader, blast door controls, and the like. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to set that up. We got return to base. There's sign our fleet systems. In fact, Lenny's just going to draw. So, I mean, the general gist with this is get flagship operations on the table, which makes your assault squadrons like what, Destiny 8 or 9 or something. And then you could do that with counter assaults. You can, when you're drawing that high a Destiny, your characters and ships can be very, very efficient. There's a Dark Deal using that. Let's keep a little optimism here, which now gives me the opportunity to verify, retrieve 1 force. So you can... I don't like that card. So you just get a force back. I mean, I hope he has Uni. He probably has Unita on there also, right? But all right, so you retrieve the force. I think I guess you can tunnel vision. He's got these tunnel visions to try to get it back, but then he's got to activate like everything. Or I mean, if he does it like towards the end of a turn where he's got a bunch of cards in his use pile already, I could see it. Yeah, and I guess there's no Myrix Terek yet. There's no 3PO without his part showing. I could see that. All right, so blast door controls comes down. No escape to get a Vader. He's got no characters in his hand. That's I never like if you're gonna deploy blast door controls, you always want to do it like right before you're about to battle, because now, and that's why it was like that they're still coming through. Interrupt from Coruscant better, because you know if someone's banking on that barrier, you know, especially when you talk about like first strike getting involved, like the element of surprise with the interrupt versus once blast door controls comes down, okay, the opponent immediately is like, okay, I know I can't rely on my barrier. Let me make sure that I use my force or play around it a little bit better than kind of having the interrupt potentially blow out. Alright, so we're having Visage pings. Of course, this Darkseid deck can retrieve a ton because it has Signer fleet systems, and the squadrons get back 3 a pop, I believe. So this is, I know this is Fat Lenny's pet deck. I think he had uncovered like a jump bug with this in I think the prior event, but the Premiere to Death Star 2 event. 20 card hand. I always love seeing these huge card hands. Master Luke off the top, TIE Assault Squadron from hand. Yeah, might as well throw that stuff that he knows he's going to get back. He's got the good squadrons here, I'll call them the sword and the shield, which don't need to replace. They can just go down whatever. We did not see any ships in Dark Deal's profit, right? In the last game we just did. Pretty sure. So yeah, this might be another game with 0 battles. This is probably a really long game in action. And that's why these replays are good sometimes, because you can, the game just goes at its pace, whatever it was. There's the thinking or retrieval extension. Those really come into play. So flagship operations is down. Fat Lenny's getting cards back. He's got this drain of 1 here, and it could be worse. I might be going a little too fast. Let me slow down. So we have a ping of 3. Sure, like Dark Deal probably has like a barrier or something like that. He's perfectly, well, I should say perfectly. He's probably fine on the ground for a little bit, but like now Fat Lenny's got 2 Vaders in his hand that would both be pretty good to just disrupt and just kill Han, basically. So Dark Deal's going to need some type of 5 force on the counter assault. He drew the 8. He's going to need some type of tricks to keep Han alive. Get rid of Ben Kenobi, or like get around to blaster deflection, all that fun stuff. Out comes Chewie, so now we've got 4 damage queued up for the 7th side of the objective. And we'll see what happens here. So Dark's down a little bit here. Of course, they have much more potential retrieval engine. And no counter assault. Draws Asteroid Destiny. He's got a lot of Asteroid Destinies to draw. Yeah, and this is kind of the neat thing. If Fat Lenny has any of his ships killed by the asteroids, that's not really a huge problem, because then that enables him to lose them and cycle them back, which, at some point, like decks like this, if you just figure, oh, well, I'm not going to keep battling and let that loop go on, but then if dark side can actually, or either side can get rid of their own cards, that kind of helps the engine work. All right, APP Vader's coming down to try to get Han off the table. We got to run, Luke, run. I think we know it was a blaster deflection. That's big. So now Han is going to live, right? In all likelihood. Han's going to miss. He would have needed a 6. Only would have needed a 5 if Your Insight Serves You Well was still out. Not the case. All right, so 3 and 3 for Battle Destiny. Han adds a second one with Han or Luke, or with Chewie or Luke. So Vader's going to die, and Darkseid has to peel 4 force. Counter assault. Luke gets revived. Alright, so this doesn't look too good for Darkseid, I would think. They did just draw into another squadron. Ping of 3. We, again, no battle order or battle plan out. Alright, so you can get these little small drains in without disrupting the rest of his plan. Light is only activating 11. Lando comes down to cancel Visage. And Light's kind of reestablished themselves on all of the Tatooine sites. A couple squadrons. So a couple squadrons in the reserve, and he can obviously use that information for tracking. Can't he now just deploy D-lots and choke? Right? I think he can choke Ben. Right? It's for, let's click on flagship operations. This card has like a weird fade to it. They're Destiny +2. So because they're 3 ties, they're Destiny +6. Which, yeah, makes them a 9, right? It depends. I think some of them are 2, some of them are 3 Destiny printed. Vader's going to choke Ben, which can't blaster deflection that. Yeah, that becomes a 9. So Ben's gone. Han's going to shoot. He needs a 6. Doesn't draw it. So this is bad for Light. Relatively bad, because now Han's going to die. Unless he's got like an old Ben. He's going to need to find another Han. It turns off all that free damage. But he's going to be able to drain it. The meditation chamber. All these drains are free. So yeah, this isn't too bad. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. He didn't cancel Visage. He just deployed Lando there for the drain too. I'm sorry. Yeah, that makes sense, because you don't want to cancel it if you're both just losing to it anyway. Apologize. You guys are probably like, what's he talking about? Visage is still out. Obi-Wan's Apparition. Nice card. Alright, Lightside runs away with Luke. That's a lot of blue cards still in his reserve. Wow. Alter against return to base. Adds 4, but not a problem. I think we just saw that he verified, right? He saw his destinies were pretty bad. Pretty low, I shouldn't necessarily say bad. They're actually good in this case for altar. And what happened? Oh, yeah, yeah. If Obi-Wan was still on the table, it would have worked, but Ben is gone. Can't believe he's gone. Alright, asteroid field, dodge. Get some force here. Both players around to 10 cards face down. Dark with no... See, that it's this engine, if he doesn't have any ties in hand, that really sets it back, so... Oh, but okay, see, another way to cycle cards. Yeah, this is a really cool deck that Fat Lenny or Paul has here, where he can just keep, like, moving these squadrons around. Yeah, put them in the back to tank for dark side ships here, even if they get hit by the asteroid. That's pretty cool. Alright, so we got lots of swords and shields. Would be a pretty crazy deck to build in person. Alright, we got another Persona Vader. Interesting. I wonder, probably, right? Like, if you deploy this somewhere and then land it at the docking bay, and light side doesn't have Luke or a Jedi out, you're on the 7 side, right? Flip this card if Vader's at a battleground site and know, like, yeah, right, so if this lands, this is Vader. That would be cool, if that ever happened. Flip Hunt down to the 7 side using the Death Star Assault Squadron. Alright, order to engage. Card very popular in retro formats. Very annoying. Wait. Now that light side's kind of stacking up here, daring dark side to battle, but yeah, dark side's got these high interrupts, so Executor does not get eliminated, to no surprise, but the other squadron does, gets thrown in the tank. Dark side did not activate a ton, presumably plans to do some stuff this turn. Battle, Fallen Portal, oof. Draws a 4, and that's not gonna do it, right? Yeah, just shy. Need a 5. Choke Luke, that's gonna miss. Yeah, this is interesting, because light side's, they're only doing the damage at the med chamber now. He didn't want to face the, order to engage damage, so Vader dies, as does Chewie. Oh, excuse me. Getting a little late here. East Coast time. Alright, journey to the med chamber. Just moving these ties around. Leia's gonna run to the home one docking bay. Why did he do that? Not sure. Alright, Asteroid Destiny drawn. Succeeded. Tank is full. Goes to Lost Pile. Man, these things need better maneuver. Atmospheric Assault. This card's cool. This is a card you get in your Cloud City pack. Like, I'm never going to use this, but during a deploy phase, deploy 1 TIE Assault Squadron for free. Yeah, it's pretty cool in this deck. Retrieves 3 cards, including 2 more squadrons. This deck must be so annoying, but this is like the ultimate. I wish I had aim high in my deck. Some of us open players, where we're used to playing shields, like aim high and secret plans are basically always on the table, but in this area you kind of have to pick your poison sometimes with what effects and what things you want to counter. But it leads to games like this, which we'll get into my Premiere Reflections 2 stream, which might not be tonight, might be another time soon, but that I was kicking myself in one of those games that I did not play Secret Planes. Alright, so Leia's going to the Executor. Oh yeah, okay, so this makes sense. That is why he moved Leia away, because he actually wants to be able to force strain. Because he can't force strain on Tatooine, of course, when Prophet's on the 0 side. And this is interesting, because again, no battle order, no battle plan. So this is a fine play to get, just more damage pushed through. But I don't know if it's going to work, because Paul's got so much retrieval still, like, in the hopper. And, I don't think Light's doing enough damage. Hey, Dark's not really doing much either. They're only draining for, what, 101? At the 2 sectors? And now he deployed this, which I don't know how great I feel about that. Because he can't deploy the Vader now. failed alter on the sense. What happened there? Sorry, going a little fast here. It could be worse. See, sometimes I'm not crazy. That is an unusual thing to try to sense your own. It could be worse, but he's trying to cycle a card. It's not like there's no tries out or anything, so. Okay, makes sense. All these failed draws for Asteroid Destiny, which I guess means nothing happens. Okay. Light gets a total of 3 drains, 3 damage through. Master Luke's going to do the same thing that Leia did. Could be worse. Centurion could be worse. Fail. Alright, yeah, that'll do it. Desperate Reach. Thank God they made that a combo card. Because it's Barrier's so popular, but a little too narrow of a function. Can it cycle itself? I don't think so, right? Oh, yeah. My chat here is like stuck. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. It's going haywire. Alright. Failed SG. Alright, so battle damage of 2. Lando gets lost. He draws another Visage. And both players getting pretty low on life force here. Luke goes with Leia. Dark can pick up Luke right now, which would be pretty bad for if Darkseid picks up Vader and then puts Vader somewhere on like the next turn. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get to that point because it looks like Light's gonna run out of time here. Not time, but well, proverbial time. With these small drains. It could be worse. It's just cycling though. Maybe not. Alright, so all these ships are just going to live, because I'm surprised that's the rule. I would think if you, or I guess it's you're dependent on your opponent. That makes sense. And yeah, I think we saw this maybe before that. Now it's in the best interest of Lightside not to allow those ships to get killed by Asteroid Destiny, because then Fat Lenny can cycle them. So yeah, that makes sense to activate everything. Alright, Dark. There's Desperate Reach. Yoda's Gimmer Stick. Yeah, this card cannot cycle itself. Desperate Reach. Yoda's Gimmer Stick. I think that makes them, need a character of ability greater than 4? Greater than 3? To actually initiate battle. That's cool. Or you can put it on Yoda to get around Yoda's text, I guess. Interesting. Alright. So Light down to 2 force, down 1 in hand. Dark down to so we're at 6 versus 3. Light's not going to be able to play. It could be Worse's turn, and they're going to be down to their last force. Asteroid Destiny fails. Dark gets the drain in. Light's down to their last force. Huh. I think he had the Visage, right? That would have been good to just counter assault. Ruh-roh. 5 versus 3, so he's got to lose 2, so that's the game. Okay. So, Darkseid wins by 2 force with 3 in hand. Alright, well that was fun. Combination of a couple decks we've seen before, but alright, so that's going to be the wrap for this stream. Let's see, how long do we go? Hour 20. Alright, so 4 games. Thanks to everyone who interacted in the chat a little bit. Really appreciate it. Sticker book token is Mara Jade's Lightsaber. Thanks to all players who submitted replay streams for these, and apologies again for taking a couple months, more than I was expecting to, but just been a wild few months between work and family and worlds and getting prizes out for everybody, especially for the Retro League, which everyone should be getting those any day now if they haven't already. So it was a really good league, a lot of fun this year. Looking forward to it next year. But yeah, I'll do one more of these. I have 3 Reflections 2 games to do. I don't think I'm going to do it tonight. Maybe tomorrow or tomorrow night. All right, everyone, take care. May the force be with you. Follow SWCCG on Twitter, as long as Twitter's still around. and yeah, StarWarsCCG.org is our website. Check it out. Bye.